Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the moon sextile or trine Pluto in Synastry. Now, first off, the unconscious side and the inner personality, which is the moon/moon person, may be in harmony with what the Pluto person has a passion and desire for. If let's say the Pluto person has their natal Pluto in Virgo in the fifth house as an example, it could be analytical, intellectual amusement and enjoyment. It could be extrapolating sports data, getting statistics that are sports related, making predictions based on that. I have Pluto and Virgo in the fifth house, so I would know something about that. But also too, the Pluto person may have that uncanny ability to transform, and really it even would resurrect in some cases the moon person's home and family life. The thing about this, which could have obviously is very beneficial to the moon person. If the moon person by chance was involved in something, some catastrophe, whether the home was obliterated or destroyed by some disaster, a tornado, or whether it was simply a situation where the person lost their home for other reasons and had to move on. It was having trouble getting a place. The moon, the Pluto person may be able to do something to help the moon person rebuild and start another situation, a home situation somewhere else. And the thing too is the moon person may be able to help the Pluto individual in just in crisis situations in general. The moon person can offer care and support. The Pluto person has their natal Pluto in the fourth house. It could be some family crisis. If the Pluto person has their Pluto in the second house, it could be a crisis of a monetary nature. Maybe possessions were stolen or destroyed somehow. And this is a person, this is a good combination, I would say, that synastry aspect for support in general, because the moon is nurturing, caring, and you have the Pluto is about support, whether it be moral, emotional, or monetary support. Now, another thing too, the thing is and also the moon person is, beneficial to the Pluto person in a crisis situation. It can be done without moon person becoming overly irrational or over emotional. Another thing is that the Pluto person may empower, the moon, person really, and it could be, through, just, doing, something in connection with the moon person's, their moon sign. If the moon person has their moon in Aquarius, as an example, it could be doing something with astronomy, astrology, electronics, computers, aviation, innovation, meteorology, as some examples. Another thing too is that the Pluto person may help, be able to control, really any, just general restlessness, of the moon person. The moon has a connection with restlessness. Say if the moon person has their moon in Gemini, this person may be exceptionally restless. That could be a very restless position. I know something about it. I have my natal moon in Gemini. Thankfully, my Taurus rising helps ground and helps calm that down a little and subdue that moon in Gemini restlessness. But anyway, another thing about the synastry aspect is that the moon person, may have, Pluto really may have, really the Pluto person really be doing, it could be the combination for doing, helping Pluto, um, you know, the moon person may actually, be like somebody that cares about, the Pluto persons, the things that they have, the passion and desire for. And in this combination of the synastry aspect, the Pluto person may be the more controlling one, but the moon person is likely okay with it and is willing to be that more passive, submissive, person in the connection, and allow the Pluto person to have, that certain control. If it's a shared resources situation or what have you. Another thing too is that looking at, the synastry aspect as well. The Pluto person may help the moon, individual, really help, could be, research, things associated, with ancestry, roots, traditions, history, their family in general. So remember, Pluto is connected with deep research. The moon is associated with history, ancestry, family anyway. Well, what I want to state is, I've stated this in my earlier videos, I stated in this one as well, is that, you never, as far as like the natal placements go, and applies to synastry, when I stated in my earlier videos regarding the natal placements, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on that alone, because the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. And the same applies to the synastry aspects. No synastry aspect is going to make or break a relationship or connection, and the moon sextile or trine Pluto is certainly no exception. Most synastry charts are going to have a plethora of aspects between person A and person B, and when you have, you can have some aspects that may offset, a positive one to some degree. You may have some positive aspects that may offset a negative one to some degree. In this case, okay, let's say, you have the two people that have this synastry aspect. They have the moon sextile or trine Pluto in synastry. But let's say, at the same time, the moon person, say, has their moon, say it's making an adverse aspect to the Pluto person Saturn. It's making a square opposition to Pluto person Saturn. The thing about, this is that, if you have the moon, adverse Saturn in synastry, the Saturn, person, may come across as a little bit maybe cold and uncaring, and more, about their business and career, and not really care as much about, the moon person's, their home life and their, safety and security or what have you. So the thing is, it might cause the moon person to feel a little bit more despondent or negative or pessimistic. So what could happen is, it could offset the moon sextile or trine Pluto synastry aspect to some degree. Now, the moon sextile trine Pluto, the basic interpretation may remain the same, but if you have some negative aspects, may make the moon sextile or trine Pluto a little bit less intense. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.